Once upon a time, there was a channel known as Fine Bros, and, well, they were just top of the world. They were the biggest React channel there ever was, and everyone loved them and adored them, at least most people with bad taste did. And they were reaching new heights, making more money than they knew what to do with, but they just decided that they weren't making enough. And they'd seemingly made all the React series that they could. Elders, teens, children, toddlers, babies, famous people, not famous people. They ticked all the boxes. They'd got all the columns and rows filled out. And then they realized they could go one step further. What if they could make money without doing a fucking thing? And then they tried to launch this thing known as React World. Go ahead, YouTube, Google it. You won't find a video announcing it because it's gone. And this wonderful concept involved nothing other than recruiting the wonderful fans of their little series and the people in their community to get them to make videos with their licensed series so they could get a 30% cut and the Fine Bros would take the majority and make more money than they were to do with by doing nothing else at all. Except filing a couple of trademark and copyright things, which would result in them seemingly owning the word React. Now I know what you're thinking. They didn't literally trademark/copyright the word React. That's just the name of their channel and that's what they were doing. They were claiming ownership over their intellectual property. However, I don't know if you've been on YouTube for more than 5 seconds, but if you haven't, let me educate you on something real quick here now. Sonny Jim, Jim Bob, Sunshine. There's a little thing called the copyright monster. It's big, it's mean, it doesn't give a fuck about your feelings or your livelihood, and it will gobble you up and take your money and everything you worked for with not so much as a handshake. They'll just take it all. Because either A, they wanted to make easy money off of something without doing anything at all. Doesn't that sound familiar? Or they didn't like what you had to say. So they copyright strike the video and you're gone. Yeah. Let's rewind just a moment in this once upon a time. Literally. No less than a week before good old Fine Bros tried to announce their wondrous and so amazing React World, which included the requirement of copyright and trademarking more things with a very vague and broad bearing. We've had channels disappearing, we've had monetization privileges being taken away, we've had livelihoods being destroyed and fucked with. Should probably be the other way around. Destroyed seems like the final step, but point still stands. Channels like Channel Awesome. Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, a guy of that higher standing with such a long run. Channels like I Hate Everything. Seemingly every channel to do with movies and films. Odd coincidence. Although there have been a fair amount of other channels not related that have also been affected by this. So you've got to ask yourself this one question. When two individuals who have become famous and successful off of reacting to things, not even themselves, other people, how in the fuck did they not see this reaction coming? They just live in their own little box, soundproofed, isolated, nothing going on, no information coming in. Did they not pay attention to the medium they're working in and the volatile situation of the whole copyright/trademark monster? How are the... What even? How do you think throwing your name, your face, your entity, your bloody commercial property into that ring is going to do you any goddamn good unless you've front load your announcements with the explanations of what you promise not to be and do? Because to go into more detail, their React World announcement video was pretty much 90% hey, you can make money for us, only it was under the guise of friendliness and community. It's a good load of bullshit you made there. I liked it a lot. You should run for president. Bullshit is #1 currency for that. 9% people have stolen our format and we're trying to protect it. Never witnessed that once at all ever, except for the part where you flipped your shit at Ellen DeGeneres for daring to ever have children around to react to things. Because we all know you were so original coming up with it. I mean, seriously, do you really think you were the first to come up with that shit? You were just the first people to get successful and mostly noticed because of it. You have no ownership over the concept of asking people what they think of something, you fucking glorified twats. Glorified twats made no sense, but you know, I just wanted to say it. Oh, and it was, the other 1% was, I don't know, actually. I think they may have addressed that they'd only use their powers that they've now possessed with the trademark/copyright thing to protect their stuff, but they were very vague, they were very broad, they gave no examples. They really didn't focus on the one thing that everybody immediately jumps on. The fact that you seemingly could just control and moderate anything that had the word react in it. And it's not a joke, you've seen how YouTube copyright claims have been. You really could do that shit. It happens. A video was removed. A channel was fucked with because the title of their video had the wrong words in it. Now, I'm not trying to jump to conclusions and say the Fan Bros would have done that. But who the hell would assume you would not? It isn't that I assume you're the worst. It isn't that everybody else assumed you're the worst. Not you. Everybody just expects the worst. Especially when you announced this at the height of the copyright apocalypse. What the hell were you thinking? And if you're going to, you needed to explain this better. Because from the outside, looking in, with no real research being done, and even if they did, they wouldn't have got much information from you of what you planned to do, because you barely spoke about it. It just looked like you, a person who wandered into a genre, got successful from it, and then tried to claim it as your own, and copyright and trademark it. It's the equivalent of Michael Bay trying to copyright/trademark the concept and idea of an exploded predictable action flick. The equivalent of the makers of Making a Murderer, that was well worded, trying to copyright/trademark the idea and concept of a documentary. It really felt like you were just trying to walk in and claim a genre as yours. I know this will probably sound a little stupid, but you should come out and address first what you're not gonna do. I don't know, that's absurd. You're announcing a new feature thing. You're announcing the new thing with things that you can do. But you've been on YouTube a long time. You should be paying attention to the things around you, although evidently you were not doing so, you amazingly smart people. You really should have been aware of the fact that everyone would assume the worst in this situation. You were getting more copyright power. That's always abused. Indie developers, for the love of fuck, abuse it, to silence critics, to remove things that they don't like, to fuck with people that they've come to have a misunderstanding with. You really should have addressed that immediately, or at least, maybe not in the React World video, a video accompanying it, uploaded alongside it, where you mention at the end for an explanation of this, and you just should have been transparent, you just should have been aware of YouTube being how it is, but you weren't. You announced React World, the main focus was, hey, you can make money for us, you didn't really address the things that you should have, and then, as you should have tried to prevent, everybody lost their shit. They assumed the worst, they called you out, they called you names, they expected you to be this horrible copyright monster that everybody else already is, and then, a short time later, you uploaded something called Update, which didn't fix anything, really, because you were still just as vague, you were still just as dismissive of the idea of you being evil, because no, we're not asking you to come out and say, hey, we promise not to be the digital Hitler. But honestly, now I think about it, if you just had come out and been slightly comical about the way YouTube is, and been kind of tongue-in-cheek of what everybody thought you could be with this, and just explained what you would do to claim ownership on your series and intellectual property, Elders React, whatever, you like every fucking age group, demographic react that. If you just explained that the copyright/trademark of the word React wasn't the word React, just your channel name thing, and that you wouldn't use and abuse it, and you just had this unofficial agreement with the internet that you wouldn't be dicks. I know it sounds stupid, because, that's probably just the way I'd go about it, and that's the way I'd approach this situation. Have I ever copyrighted or trademarked a word that was so broad and vague and could have been abused so easily? You should have just been silly about it. Ish. It's a serious topic, but you never really addressed it in the right way. Your announcement video ignored it, your update video didn't address it, while you had the face of just being emotionally vacant. Does that look like the face of a man that's sorry? I don't even know. I'm not trying to judge someone for how they look. Fuck, it could have been the middle of the morning, it's like, oh god, everything's gone to shit and I've got to make this video and you just didn't feel well. You could have been ill for all I know. I don't know, but fuck me. You've got to be aware of the fact that you're trying to apologise right now and update and inform, and you just look so pissed to be there. You look unhappy that you had to explain this. You really do. That is the face of a man that's just generally unhappy with the situation. I assume. Again, it has no emotion. I assume that's your attempt at a poker face. You fucked up. You look miserable, fella. You don't look sincere in anything you're saying, either. And that's the problem, because with all of us that love to assume the worst, even if you're just a consumer of the site, not a content creator, we always kind of assume the worst. So, looking at this doesn't paint the prettiest picture. No joke intended, I'm not trying to judge you, I look like a potato with glasses, don't worry about it. Point is, TLDR in word form, you done goofed. And you didn't fix the problem with your supposed damage control at all. However, now, current, at the point of me recording this, you did remove both of those videos and apparently remove the trademark/copyright thing. So we're all back where we were at step 1 before all this. You guys unfortunately aren't, because of how you poorly addressed it, how you poorly handled it. You've just come out looking worse for wear without any of the things you were going to do. You didn't get to launch React World, you didn't get to do all the things you set out to do, you got all the blowback and the negative of the situation without any of the positive. And it sucks. As much as I love to poke fun at people like, haha, you fucked up and now you're falling from grace, and there's a part of me that really does enjoy it because your content, in my opinion, personally, is garbage, but that's out of the... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I fucking think. I'm just one goddamn guy that hates most things. What a surprise. I hated you as well. Fucking whoop-de-doo. On a professional level, though, I do sympathise with you because, honestly, they could have had the best intentions, they just were too stupid to know how to fucking approach this and announce it and address it. That seems to be what I'm taking away from this. Not the Fine Bros are evil. I mean, maybe they're a little bit money-grubbing because the whole React World was literally just a feature, a thing, an implementation for them to make money without doing anything else. It really was. But I don't think they're evil. I don't think they were going to be the monster we assumed. We just assumed it because we've seen it so often. How the fuck could we predict anything else? We wanted to be proven wrong, I imagine. I wanted to be proven wrong. I don't want to believe that more people would do that. I don't want to believe that somebody who was made famous and successful on YouTube would then turn against it, so to speak. I don't want to believe that. I don't want that to happen. I really don't want to assume that to be the truth. I'd like to believe that they were just... Sorry for saying it again because it's almost insulting. Too fucking stupid to know how to deal with this announcement and how to address it. Again, maybe my way wouldn't work, but I would have just been tongue-in-cheek, just all out. Address the fact that, yep, I just copyright trademark things and we've seen how awful that can be with other motherfuckers. And then you just promise not to be that. As much as that probably won't remove all doubt, it probably won't satiate everyone's need for information, I don't know. It wouldn't convince everyone. But it's better than what you did, which was just ignoring it. Look at the fucking subscriber count. Still falling. This is the result of you ignoring it. You silly buggers. What the hell? Basically, what I'm trying to do while winding down and ending this video is just address the fact I don't even hold anything against you except for your own idiocy. Your own lack of awareness of the situation you were stepping in at the height of its bullshittery, literally. You announced that you well, you didn't announce it, but people obviously found out when you did it, that you copyright/trademark something at the height of, as I said before, the copyright apocalypse, with channels disappearing and copyright strikes having more of an impact than they ever did before. Because to quickly, I should have probably done this at the beginning, but to quickly address that, usually when you get a copyright strike, it's just, hey, one strike, hey, do something about this, and you can counterclaim it, and yada yada. At no point ever was one claim something that would remove monetization. Suddenly, 2016, that's happening, as well as mass flagging resulting in channels disappearing and then being reinstated with no explanation or apology. It's lunacy at the moment. Honestly feels as if 2016 rolled around, the calendar changed, and suddenly the terms of service did, but nobody was told. So, yeah. With that little brief summary, assuming that's the first you've heard of it, I'd imagine that sounds pretty awful for anybody that works in this environment. Why the fuck would you announce what you did in the way you did when you did? That's what I just can't get over. I'm not sorry. I don't like them. Fuck it. They're idiots. I can't get over the fact that they were this dumb. I just can't. So, to sum up, the Fine Bros tried to launch React World got a massive blowback because of the copyright/trademark claims, because copyright itself is so broad and vague, you really can easily abuse it, and it isn't even as if, oh yeah, just on YouTube it's fucked. You really can just abuse it across the board anywhere and claim ownership and fuck people over because they dared to even use that word. That's the thing, they could have done it. Even if they never planned to, that's what they could legally do, to an extent. That's where everybody got worried, and it blew back in their face, and then they failed to damage control at all. It made it worse, and here we are, with all those things being removed, but Fine Bro's reputation has been horribly destroyed. At least for now. I'm sure the majority of their audience will just forgive and forget, mainly because, honestly, I think forgiveness is in order. I won't forgive their stupidity, but again, I don't think they had any horrible intentions. I don't know, maybe that's just because I don't want to assume the worst with the environment of my job. I'd like to just assume the best and not be constantly trying to wade through a nightmare of my channel being gone tomorrow just because someone didn't like what I said, you know? Again, here's something. I think I may have forgot to mention, they were censoring comments. They were removing videos that other people made. That didn't give the best impression either, you know? They just handle it in the worst way possible. And again, they really might not be the devil we assume them to be. That could have just been them doing their best to try and put out the most positive message by getting rid of the negative stuff, but that's never a good idea, because that gives the impression you have something to hide. You fuck. Either way, whether intended to be dickheads or not, they fucking came across like even bigger idiots and dickheads than they otherwise would have been. So, bravo. Well done to the both of you. You're idiots. Your content's awful, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy this entire mess. Have a great day, you fucking bumbling idiots. Actually, let's not end it on that. What we should end it on is let this be a lesson to anybody in the future of how not to handle this situation. Because subscribers are still going down. You fucking idiots.